Hi, my name's Kevin. I'm the atypical cripple, and I wanted to do another video. And this video is on the word love. And I wanted to point something out. As a Christian, I believe that every Sunday I go to church to learn about myself and other people and the standards of proper behavior. Whether you can do it or not is inconsequential, but the standard is there nonetheless. And what I've learned in my Christian experience, also having gone to graduate school, also having interests in history, I wanted to point something out here. This may be unfamiliar to all involved, Christian, unchristian, doesn't really matter. I want to point out, I hear a lot of people on the internet throwing around, oh, we need to love one another. We need to love one. Well, what does that mean, love? Because unlike the Greeks, we just kind of smash all that language, all those linguistic concepts into one container we call love. And I wanted to point something out here. So, in Christian theology and in Greek language, there are multiple definitions of love, mainly coming from that of Greek philosophy, because after all, it only took the fourth chapter of Acts for Christians, or for there to be, let me point it out like this. In the book of Acts, I'm just saying the fourth chapter because I haven't looked it up. Maybe I'm lazy that way. But maybe that'll make me more appealing to you. I don't know. But essentially, Stephen is stoned. Why is Stephen stoned? Well, the Jews don't like him. Why don't the Jews like him? Don't like him. Is it because he's Christian? Oh no, there was division in the Christian church as well. Peter and the rest of the apostles were like, why are we handing out food? We should give this off to someone else. And delegation goes far back as Moses. So, proto-Christianity, otherwise known as Hebrewism. It goes back to a Midianite priest called Jethro. And that guy was a smart dude. He's like, Moses, why are you listening to everyone and their complaints? These certainly can be solved by other people. And so, delegation, so the apostles wanted to delegate to other people. And so Stephen and another guy were chosen to give out food to the widows and orphans that were neglected. Why were they neglected? They were neglected because they were Greek. They had a Grecian influence in their worship and love of God. They're still part of the church. Peter and the other apostles recognized we have a problem. People are being neglected. They are. So here's the thing. Love. Why do we have the word love? Well, it's to reflect an emotive state. Which emotive state? Well, let's take a look up here. I went on the Google machine and this is what I got. I got a little more than even I would recognize because I thought the one that was harder remember was storge. That's the one that doesn't fit in my mental vocabulary, but the other ones are, eros, we pretty much know, philia, phileo, and agape, and that God love. Well, there are some other ones up here. It's pragma, enduring love, ludus, a playful love. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Obsessive love, mania. I love her so much. Yeah, I don't think so, Bo. And well, anyway, whatever this one is. So we have love, and we have about 8 different definitions of what might that love be. And if you have a good pastor, he's going to know at least 4 of these, storge, eros, philia, and agape, which is what, God feels towards us, because honestly, we don't have a lot to offer you. So it's kind of in a one-way direction. But anyway, I also wanted to point out there's an excellent book called The Four Loves. And instead of having me read it to you, which I'm sure there's an audience that wants me to be an audiobook reader, things people don't say to people with disability, with cerebral palsy in particular. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have the computer read it for you. Thank you, Google. This is a wonderful, nice little add-on to my Chrome browser. And so let's go. Let's see what... I've read it. I agree with it. I think this is a good representation of the Four Loves. And I just want to read it to you now with the help of the computer. So this is Wikipedia Four Loves. Come on.
The Four Loves. 5 Loves and the First Love. Self-love. The Four Loves is a 1960 book by C.S. Lewis which explores the nature of love from a Christian and philosophical perspective through thought experiments. The book was based on a set of radio talks from 1958 which had been criticized in the US at the time for their frankness about sex. Need/gift love. Taking his start from St. John's words God is love, Lewis initially thought to contrast need love, such as the love of a child for its mother, and gift love, epitomized by God's love for humanity, to the disparagement of the former. However, he swiftly happened on the insight that the natures of even these basic categorizations of love are more complicated than they at first seemed. A child's need for parental comfort is a necessity, not a selfish indulgence, while conversely parental gift love in excessive form can be a perversion of its own. Pleasures. Lewis continues his examination by exploring the nature of pleasure, distinguishing need pleasures, such as water for the thirsty, from pleasures of appreciation, such as the love of nature. From the latter, he developed what he called a third element in love. Appreciative love, to go along with need love and gift love. Throughout the rest of the book, Lewis goes on to counterpoint that threefold, qualitative distinction against the 4 broad types of loves indicated in his title. In his remaining 4 chapters, Lewis treats love under 4 categories. The highest does not stand without the lowest, based in part on the 4 Greek words for love: affection, friendship, eros, and charity. Lewis states that just as Lucifer, a former archangel, perverted himself by pride and fell into depravity, so too can love, commonly held to be the arch-emotion, become corrupt by presuming itself to be what it is not. A fictional treatment of these loves is the main theme of Lewis's novel Till We Have Faces. The Four Loves. Storge, Greek, sigma tau omicron rho gamma, is liking someone through the fondness of familiarity, family members, or people who relate in familiar ways that have otherwise found themselves bonded by chance. An example is the natural love and affection of a parent for their child. It is described as the most natural, emotive, and widely diffused of loves. It is natural in that it is present without coercion, emotive because it is the result of fondness due to familiarity, and most widely diffused because it pays the least attention to those characteristics deemed valuable or worthy of love and, as a result, is able to transcend most discriminating factors. Lewis describes it as a dependency-based love which risks extinction if the needs cease to be met. Affection, for Lewis, included both need love and gift love. He considered it responsible for ths of all solid and lasting human happiness. However, affection's strength is also what makes it vulnerable. Affection has the appearance of being built-in or ready-made, says Lewis, and as a result, people come to expect it irrespective of their behavior and its natural consequences. Both in its need and its gift form, affection then is liable to go bad, and to be corrupted by such forces as jealousy, ambivalence, and smothering. Philia, Greek, phi iota lambda alpha, is the love between friends as close as siblings in strength and duration. The friendship is the strong bond existing between people who share common values, interests, or activities. Lewis immediately differentiates friendship love from the other loves. He describes friendship as the least biological, organic, instinctive, gregarious, and necessary, the least natural of loves. Our species does not need friendship in order to reproduce, but to the classical and medieval worlds, it is a higher level love because it is freely chosen. Lewis explains that true friendships, like the friendship between David and Jonathan in the Bible, are almost a lost art. He expresses a strong distaste for the way modern society ignores friendship. He notes that he cannot remember any poem that celebrated true friendship like that between David and Jonathan, Orestes and Pylades, Roland and Oliver, Amos and Amiles. Lewis goes on to say, to the ancients, friendship seemed the happiest and most fully human of all loves, the crown of life and the school of virtue. The modern world, in comparison, ignores it. Growing out of companionship, friendship for Lewis was a deeply appreciative love, though one which he felt few people in modern society could value at its worth, because so few actually experienced true friendship. Nevertheless, Lewis was not blind to what he considered the dangers of friendships, such as its potential for cliqueness, anti-authoritarianism, and pride. Eros, Greek, rho omega, for Lewis was love in the sense of being in love or loving someone, as opposed to the raw sexuality of what he called Venus. The illustration Lewis used was the distinction between wanting a woman and wanting one particular woman, something that matched his classical view of man as a rational animal, a composite both of reasoning angel and instinctual alley cat. Eros turns the need pleasure of Venus into the most appreciative of all pleasures, but nevertheless, Lewis warned against the modern tendency for Eros to become a god to people who fully submit themselves to it, a justification for selfishness, even a phallic religion. After exploring sexual activity and its spiritual significance in both a pagan and a Christian sense, he notes how Eros, or being in love, is in itself an indifferent, neutral force, how Eros in all his splendor, may urge to evil as well as good. While accepting that Eros can be an extremely profound experience, he does not overlook the dark way in which it could lead even to the point of suicide pacts or murder, as well as to furious refusals to part, mercilessly chaining together two mutual tormentors, each raw all over with the poison of hate in love. Charity, agape, Greek, gamma is the love that exists regardless of changing circumstances. Lewis recognizes this selfless love as the greatest of the four loves, and sees it as a specifically Christian virtue to achieve. The chapter on the subject focuses on the need to subordinate the other three natural loves. As Lewis puts it, the natural loves are not self-sufficient, to the love of God, who is full of charitable love, to prevent what he termed their demonic self-aggrandizement. See also. References. Carrot. Rogers, Carl, 1984.
Hang on.
Becoming Partners. p. 238. Carrot. Hooper.
All right. So the point is, love is complex, and I think I would like to see us parse out when you say, "Oh, I love you," or "I love that," or whatever. We have completely drowned out the word linguistically, and I think that's sad. And ultimately, I do believe it to be harmful in our society by not divvying out, just how you feel. towards somebody. And even though it can mean a lot, it's in your head, man. And when you're trying to express what you really feel, you might consider using some of these other words. All right, Kevin, atypical cripple. I'll see you on the next bounce. Thank you for watching, if you made it this far.